What camp were you in when Disney bought out Star Wars? Were you one of those that thought that, hey, okay, well, this is going to be a lot more investment in Star Wars? I don't know. Like, it's how I thought. I'll tell you this much. This is what I thought with Marvel. Again, there's videos out there of me when talking about this back in the gap. I'm thinking like they're going to take shit to the next level because it's Disney. I was fucking wrong, and I'm willing to be wrong on that. I'll admit it.
I have never liked Disney.
Okay, that's fair.
I've never liked them as a company. I was never a Disney person. I was never into the Disney animations or anything like that. I always thought of Disney as girl brand, girly stuff. Not my thing. I'm into the A-Team and shit like that, and Star Wars and Star Trek and all that nerdy shit. So I didn't like Disney. Never did like Disney. When they bought Star Wars, my initial reaction, like a lot of people's, was like, and they said we're gonna do episodes 7, 8, 9. You were kind of like, oh, okay, we got the money, we've got it now. Okay,
boy,
that escalated quickly,
very quickly.
Well,
I mean, across several brands, man. Across several brands, it's like it's the same story. I mean, we talked about that last week. I mean, we could be talking about something, and if we weren't specifically naming the actual names of the characters or constantly saying the brand that we were discussing, nobody would know. You could plug in fucking whatever the fuck. It's the same story. So it is interesting enough. I know I was wrong about the Marvel shit for sure. I was pretty stoked on it. Hell, even when Disney Plus got announced, I was like, oh, this is going to be an opportunity for them to kind of flesh out some of these other characters that may not call for a movie or something like that, or further developed characters that may got introduced in the movie. Go look at my old videos. I had some enthusiasm about me. I was just fucking wrong.
There's no harm in having hope.
Yeah.
There's no harm in that. There's no. It's just been unfortunately torn from us over the course of the last 10, 12 years with pretty much everything.
Quick, bro.
Comics, Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who, Games Workshop. Pick them. Wizards of the Coast. Pick them. Anime. Pick them. Pick them all. It's all been annihilated over the course of the last 10 or 12 years. One thing that geeks tend to be, for the most part, is hopeful. When people take their franchise and say, "Hey, we're gonna do stuff for you."
Yeah, you try to give them a benefit of the doubt at least. Minimum.
Yes, and they don't deserve shit anymore.
Not anymore. Absolutely not. I've long conceded that. We both walked away from the industry, or like for the most part, definitely with comics and what's happened with the mainstream is one of the things where it's like, okay, I gave them the benefit of the doubt a lot longer than some other people did. I just can't do that. I can't even afford to do it. It just doesn't make any sense. But I think people are at that level. You reached apathy stage. Not everybody, but you reach a lot. When I see someone like even, is it fair to call Grace Randolph a shill?
I mean, she's certainly more shill than objective. I wouldn't say she's objective, and I can see her from an objective viewpoint. Most of her takes are absolutely horrendous. that lean into defending corporation above fandom.
Sure. She leans toward that. Even she conceded that this last up. She said that shit was awful.
Mm-hmm.
So that tells me off rip.
And she's been saying the Acolyte's great.
Yeah.
So we know that when people say shit like that,
it's bullshit.
It's like Chinese torture, She knows she's lying, and it's like drip episode 2, drip episode 3, drip episode 4.
It gets to a point to where you can't defend the sort of is indefensible, and then you're like, all right, fuck it. I kind of held on. Look, and I get being hopeful because I that's why I started Riververse. I talked about wanting to bring back fun, and I think people should get that. I don't think you're going to get that in mainstream stuff anymore. So I get giving them the benefit of the doubt. If you guys that have watched me over the last decade, you know how much money I was fucking spending on Marvel and DC. Just using them as an example. You guys know there's not a whole lot of guys out there that were at least spending more money. I'm not talking about Wikipedia wonder shit. I'm not talking about like pirating on some obscure comic book website with everything. digital. No, I'm talking about I was walking into the comic book shop with a list. I had a pull list and I was buying that shit. And I'm talking, I spent quite literally
picked up a bunch of these.
Yeah, they're all back issues. So there you go.
Yeah. I've gone through some of them. Not a single guy getting sucked off at a truck stop.
Any force detection through metal detectors? In green.
He's trying to detect Superman's powers through a metal detector.
In the ground.
In the ground. Like where Star Wars is fucking buried.
That's tough, man. That's very tough. Well, at least you got one episode. For you guys that are out there that are still being optimistic about it, maybe there will be $190 million, or excuse me, $170 million invested in the last episode, and you'll see it. It'll all come together. They'll explain everything. They'll explain why Tormund killed himself. They'll explain why the Force is trapped into the ground in this random planet, and they had to use metal detectors. It'll be 3 hours long, finale. And it'll be all sorts of the greatest CGI you've ever seen. And you will find that all of the money was invested in the final episode of The Acolyte.
Thank God you're pretty, Eric. That's all I can say.
I'm just being, that's the glass half full. That's the whole glass full. That ain't no half full. That's all.
Yeah. It's a glass of fucking crack, but yeah.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to head over to rippaverse.com to check out our comic book company. We have books, plenty of merchandise, and even some glorious animations from Rippaverse Studios.